Hi, I'm going to show you how I made a built-in entertainment center for under $700 with just IKEA and some trim work. These photos are from 2 months after we moved in. You can see the original wall paneling behind the couch there and the TV. The TV is in the corner of the room directly across from the couch, and it was placed there without much thought, and it turned out that setup just didn't work. We had no storage, there was wasted space, and it never really felt comfortable or pretty. Now, in the after shot, you can see that we moved the TV to the couch wall and built the entire entertainment center around it. I'll share a full tour of the updated room in a future video, but for now I'm focusing on the built-in itself. And also, I want to preface with the fact that I was not planning to make this video, so I did not take pictures throughout with the intent, but I'm going to try to make them do. I kept the tools fairly simple. They really are just the basics, even if it looks like a lot. We've built up our tools over the past couple of years and usually add one or two more with each project we tackle. I really like the Ryobi line, even though it seems to get a lot of hate. And a few things I want to point out in this video are these GRK cabinet screws. I found that they're actually much easier to start when you're drilling into wood than construction screws are. And also I know that level is very long and it looks like overkill, but it's really good when you're lining up multiple cabinets or hanging wallpaper. So step 1, measure and plan. I made this image using Canva from pasted in screenshots to visualize what it was going to look like. Now again, I wasn't planning on sharing this photo out, as this is the genuine rough image I made for myself in the planning stage. But you can see those orange rectangles. I might add some molding right there on the sides of the TV to help create a more balanced focal point. And I'm also considering extending the bookshelves all the way to the ceiling for a more custom built-in look, but that will be part of a future phase. So now is when I needed to choose my cabinet combination. I went with 3 Brims cabinets and 2 Brims bookcases. This combination came out to be 139 inches wide. Our wall is 150 inches, so that left about 5.5 inches on each side that I would need to trim out. I would have loved to have found something that would have fit more snug, but this is just how the cards fell. And another aspect is these bookcases we chose are only 74 inches tall, whereas the Billy bookcase would be 5 inches taller, but they ended up being about 1 inch too wide for our space. But I'm very happy how it turned out, especially given that all 5 pieces were under $590, plus $19 for delivery. So originally I had planned to paint this wall one color, add picture frame molding with a sideboard buffet piece below the TV, and you'll see some blue tape in the next clip. But once I removed the wall paneling, the glue had damaged the wall so much, I didn't have faith that I could smooth out the patches. So we had to go another direction. And side note, I ripped off all of the paneling just in time for my husband to come downstairs and have a minor heart attack at the damage. But then I realized we had an opportunity and found perfect cabinets to cover the damage. Step 2, assemble your cabinets. These cabinets and bookshelves were super easy to put together. That's my husband right there pictured. He was really helpful, and our cat Spaghetti was a good supervisor. But I was honestly impressed with the quality. The shelves feel solid, and for the price of $99 each, they're perfect. Sturdy, clean, and just what we needed. Then you will of course place your cabinets in their new home. Level, center them, and attach them to each other using the brackets or screws. We took this time to cut a chunk out of the back of the cabinets and the wall in order to run the TV cords. And at this point, only 3 cabinets were anchored together into the wall. The bookcases were floating, because I was unsure of where they would actually land. And again, I wasn't planning on sharing these pictures, so really I'm just lucky that I snapped them during the process. I eventually pushed the bookcases flush against the rear wall, which makes them sit about 3 inches back from the front of the cabinets, but I think it works. And then I left 3-inch gaps on each side because I wasn't liking the one large 6-inch gap next to the wall. So I then added 1x3 trim boards using a brad nailer where the bookcases meet the wall and the cabinets, using 2x4s for support behind them. And this is the only photo I took while you can still see the gap, and only did so because I thought my cat was being cute. So I've then filled the nail holes and some rough wood spots with wood filler, sanded, and caulked all the gaps for a seamless look. I've learned a few tricks over the past few projects and from YouTube. Like caulk is best used when there's a change in plane, and wood filler is best when the joints are on the same plane. Sometimes I break that rule. I might have here in some places because wood filler can take a lot more time. But then I needed to paint, and I needed to match the color of the cabinets. I actually had Home Depot color match a shelf since I couldn't find a color already in existence that would match the IKEA white. In case you need it, the color code is in that photo. For the finishing touches, I had bought these $18 gold metal replacement handles from Amazon, but my husband thought the edges were too sharp for our 4-year-old daughter to play around. So instead, here I'm installing 3D printed handles in a bronze filament, which we hand sanded with 3000 grit paper. Luckily, my husband has a hobby of 3D printing, and even though I love the gold ones, these are indeed much softer. Once the filler and caulk was dry and smooth, I painted the trim to match the cabinets and wall. I then installed a laminate walnut countertop from IKEA and finished it off with a black sconce above each bookcase. The countertop was 97 inches long, which left about 3-inch overhang on each side. And actually, one of my nice contractor neighbors cut down the width with his table saw from 25 inches to 16 inches for free. You could do it with a circular saw, but I didn't trust myself to get it that straight. You could totally stop without buying these extras and be done, but I do think they add a lot of value and make it look truly custom. I love the look of the sconces right now, especially because the bookcases don't go all the way to the wall. I am considering filling in that space, but I want it to look seamless, and I'm hesitant that I can achieve it. But also, the sconces aren't functional yet. The cords don't reach the outlets. A bit of poor planning on my part, so we need to wire them in. So here is the final product and how the cost broke down. We have 3 brims cabinets for $315, 2 bookshelves for $274. The trim boards were about $32, and so that came to $625 just before tax. And so with the few extras I got, that still stayed under $850. And this project honestly was easier than I expected and came out much better than I anticipated. The closest comparable unit that I could find at the width was this entertainment center from Pottery Barn. It's 144 inches wide, which still would have left 3 inches on each side of the unit from our wall, and so it wouldn't look fully built in either. And I've also heard some estimates from contractors coming in around $5,000 or more to build a custom bookshelf. I am so happy with this built in because it has added tons of storage for toys and blankets, and it makes the room feel much more open and functional. It's been a game changer for family time. Another bonus is these lights that sync with the TV my husband installed. I don't know much about them, but they definitely enhance the viewing experience. Here we have Moana 2. And honestly, animated shows are 95% of what's on this TV anyway. But I hope I've helped you with this video. I love improving my home and doing it without spending a lot of money. Working with tools can feel a bit intimidating at first, but I've learned everything on YouTube and by trial and error. And it's not only fulfilling, but it's pretty empowering too.